Social protection programs are key elements of support for the poor and vulnerable population, which are vital to the sustainable development of human capital of any nation. Now, in a bid to accelerate Nigeria's poverty reduction efforts and in line with the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration, fostering social protection systems that contributes to the welfare of the vulnerable population is top on the agenda. The federal government has demonstrated commitment in bridging the gaps through initiatives like the direct cash transfers targeting 20 million poor households, with 4 million households already reached as of October 2024. Other initiatives such as the student loan scheme and consumer credit made available to workers to enable them to purchase household goods or convert their vehicles to cheaper, cleaner, compressed natural gas. Also providing grants and loans worth up to 75 billion naira to support 1 million small and micro enterprises are part of federal government's social intervention programs. With the progress recorded so far, what efforts are in place towards repositioning social welfare programs under the National Social Investment Programs? Tonight, on Weekend File, our focus is assessing the gains of federal government social investment programs, and our guest is the Minister of State, Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, Dr. Yusuf Tanko Sununu. We'll bring you situation reports from across the country. Thank you for joining us. This is Weekend File. I'm Ruth Aguele. First, let's bring you the news. President Bola Tinubu has commended Governor Peter Mba of Enugu State for his commitment to development and good governance with the various projects executed within his first 2 years in office. The president, who is on a one-day working visit to Enugu, inaugurated the projects cutting across education, health, and infrastructure executed by the state government. State House correspondent Musbahu Damwahab reports.
Enugu received President Bola Tinubu on his first working trip in 2025. Governor Peter Mba, in his first 18 months in office, has delivered some developmental projects enough to earn the presidential visit. The people of the state too certainly delighted to have the president on this mission.
I thank you very much.
The governor made further statements on his commitments toward providing adequate security in the state with a state-of-the-art command and control center, as well as 150 patrol vehicles with AI-embedded surveillance cameras.
And since to the glory of God Almighty,
President Tinubu also inaugurated the Enugu Smart Green School, one of the 30 completed and equipped out of the 260 under construction across wards of the state. Other projects include 90 completed urban roads in the state capital, 60 completed and equipped Type 2 primary healthcare centers out of the 260 under construction, as well as the completed multiple auditorium international conference center in Enugu. At the Governor's Lodge, the president addressed a gathering of leaders in the state. For him, political affiliation does not matter, but commitment to general development, which he says Governor Peter Mba has demonstrated with his futuristic projects.
and you are demonstrating that commitment, irrevocable commitment to human development. Please continue to cooperate and collaborate with your son, brother, friend here, who is really committed to pushing the development of Enugu State and be a good symbol of southeastern state.
At the national level, the president expressed his dedication to the process of building a country that all Nigerians would be proud of.
This house, we must build it. Build it to satisfy our immediate need, which is not going to be enough yet, but our tomorrow too. That is why the removal of the fuel subsidy was necessary. You cannot spend the future of generations yet unborn in advance.
Governor Peter Mba has an ultimate goal of growing the economy from the current 4.4 billion naira to 30 billion naira, and he believes these projects are fundamental towards achieving the targets.
But Your Excellency, all these infrastructural developments are largely possible because of the bold initiatives you have taken, the courageous pronouncements you made in order to free up funds for development. And with the support and the unwavering commitments of the security agencies, the police, the DSS, the Army, Your Excellency, I'm pleased to announce that we no longer observe sit at home in Enugu.
President Bola Tinubu is back in Lagos after the working visit. In Lagos, Musbao, then Wahab, NC News.
In other news, the Central Bank of Nigeria has clarified that its staff early exit program is voluntary and not mandatory. This was at the resumed hearing of the House of Representatives investigation into the reported layoff of more than 1,000 staff of the Apex Bank and an associated 50 billion naira payoff scheme. CBN's Deputy Governor, Corporate Services, Bala Mohammed Bello, explained that no staff has been coerced to leave the bank without their consent. His explanation followed inquiry by the House Ad Hoc Committee probing the retirement exercise.
We implore you to avail this committee with necessary informations, facts and figures, but be rest assured, the assembly of these members of this committee, I am very optimistic and certain that we are responsible enough to be fair in our fact findings. We should be balanced and will be fair to all manner of members involved in this exercise.
The exercise that you are mentioning, nobody was actually terminated or dismissed. People were retired with their full benefits for us to have opportunities to reinvigorate and bring in new blood or new perspectives to how things are done. So that was at the instance of the bank. People were actually retired with their full benefits. This one that is taking place or has taken place now is strictly voluntary. So there are two different things altogether. But if you take the two together and you juxtapose it within the context of the overall strategy to streamline the operations of the bank, to refocus the operation of the bank, to invigorate the operation of the bank, to re-energize the operation of the bank, you can take the two together as leading to the same objective. Whereas one, people were retired with their full benefits, okay? The other was actually absolutely, voluntary.
The Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, announces that due to the ongoing road dualization project along the Apo axis in Abuja, 8 number 132 kV and 33 kV towers will be relocated along the Kukwaba-Apo line on the outer southern expressway route. In a statement, TCN notes that the relocation work will necessitate a planned power outage from Monday, 6th January to Monday, 20th January 2025, from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. daily, which is the estimated duration for the dismantling and construction of the towers, as well as restringing of the power cables that would enable resumption of bulk power supply to the Apo transmission substation from Gwagwalada substation. TCN says there will be rationing of electricity supply in Kubwa, Karu, Mararaba, Nyanya, Masaka, Kefi, Kukwaba, and Apo Mechanic. Also to be affected are parts of Lugbe, Trademore Estate, Piakasa, Sabon Lugbe, Chika, and Aleta axes. While the relocation of the transmission towers is necessary for the completion of the road project, TCN apologizes to customers in the affected areas for the inconveniences the planned power outage will cause, and assures that power supply will be restored as soon as the towers relocation and cable stringing are completed. The peace and stability of the nation largely depends on the values the family instill in their children, and parents must take responsibility seriously. Vice President Kashim Shettima gave the advice in Kano during the wedding of children of the state APC chairman, Abdullahi Abbas. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila reports.
President Kashim Shettima was received at the Malam Aminu Kano International Airport by the Kano State Deputy Governor, Aminu Abdul Salam Gwarzo, Deputy Senate President Barrow Jibril, among other political leaders. The Vice President proceeded to the Al-Furqan Juma'at Mosque in Nasarawa GRA to witness the wedding of two sons of the APC Kano State Chairman, Abdullahi Abbas, Muhammad and Abbas. Abbas tied the knot with Khadija Buhari and Muhammad to Zulaihat Nasir after the payment of 500,000 naira as dowry to each couple. The solemnization was initiated by the Chief Imam of Al-Furqan Jum'at Mosque, Dr. Bashir Aliyu Umar. Vice President Kashim Shettima stood in for Muhammad, while Deputy Senate President Barrow Jibril stood in for Abbas with prayers offered for the blessing of the marriages. From Kano, Abdurrahman Jibrila, NTA News.
President Bola Tinubu commiserates with the government and people of Ondo State over the death of Secretary to the State Government, Temitayo Oluwatui. He died today following hospitalization from serious injuries he sustained in an accident on December 15, 2024. And the president condoles with the political stalwart's family, friends, and political associates over his passing. A statement by the special advisor to the president on information and strategy, Bayo Onanuga, says the president prays for the repose of the soul of the deceased and for God to bring comfort to his family. The remains of late Professor Nuhu Yaqub has been laid to rest, according to Islamic teachings, at Gudu Cemetery in Abuja. Ibrahim Bello Gunda reports that Professor Yaqub passed away in the early hours of today after a brief illness.
In the news of the passing of Professor Nuhu Yaqub, sympathizers converged at National Mosque Abuja, where the Imam, Professor Lukman Zakaria, led the funeral prayer. The Imam prayed for the repose of his soul. Sympathizers described the deceased's sterling qualities as an exemplary leader and a level-headed professional.
We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for his life, for his contribution to education, and for his contribution in many sectors of our public life.
It's so surreal. We will all miss him. He was a man of integrity. He was a really good man. He was a pan-Nigerian. He got along with everyone and he made an impact.
Nigeria has missed a great man, a great scholar, and a university administrator par excellence.
He's a father to all. As you can see, many people are here. His counseling, his advice is always available for us. I will miss that about him.
The family we miss most his kindness. He's kind-hearted, he's warm, he's generous.
Age 73, Professor Yaqub was born in Okene on 3rd March 1951 and rose to the rank of a professor in 1998. The former Vice-Chancellor, University of Abuja, had left an indelible mark on the intellectual development of the nation, influencing countless students and policymakers. Late Professor Nu Yakub is survived by one wife, 3 children, and grandchildren. In Abuja, Ibrahim Bello Gunda, NTA News.
Professor Nuhu Yakub was no doubt many things to different people, but his crowning glory was his outstanding record of academic excellence, which took him to the pinnacle of his career. Oluseyi Adiagbo now reflects on the life of the man whose sudden death is deeply felt across the academia and the country.
People have to change their orientation to politics. If you are going into politics, please take it as, a commitment to go and serve the people.
A distinguished Nigerian who held significant positions in several universities, including the Usman Danfodio University, Sokoto, where he was Vice-Chancellor, and the University of Abuja. Born in Kogi State, Professor Nuhu Yakubu bagged a first-class Bachelor of Science Honours degree in Political Science at the famous Bayero University, Kano, and obtained his Doctor of Philosophy in Development Studies at the University of Sussex, United Kingdom.
Professor Nuhu Yakubu and I were in the university together. He was an accomplished scholar. He was a great university administrator, a vice-chancellor of about 3 or 4 universities.
He was the chairman of our institute advisory board. He was my vice-chancellor. He was my employer. And as such, his demise is a big loss to this country.
A selfless Nigerian whose immense contributions helped in restoring dignity in the country's electioneering and democratic system, also backed a National Honours Award of the Order of the Federal Republic, OFR. Though he died at the age of 73, many say the Marxist scholar and mentor was a professional whose support was invaluable and were greatly missed across board.
It is indeed shocking on the demise of this exceptional gentleman, a professional to the core. So all we can say is to take solace in the injunction of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that is, from him we come and to him shall we return.
A leader in education in Nigeria. This is a great loss for our nation. We can only pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive him and bless him with Al-Jannat Firdaus.
If truly Al-Jannat Firdaus is the highest, may Allah put him there. If there's another paradise that is higher than Jannatul Firdaus that we do not know, may Allah admit him there.
While his national presence and contributions remain reference points, Professor Nuhu Yakubu came, saw, and indeed conquered, leaving a clearly defined print in the sands of time. In Abuja, Oluseyi Adiagbo, NTA News.
A dear friend to the NTA family, he will greatly be missed, a humble and gentle soul. May God grant him eternal rest. We'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll be discussing assessing federal government's gains of the social investments program. Please stay tuned.
To all our viewers, we say thank you. good TV station means different things to different people. What made NTA stand out for you in 2024?
Babu shakka, babu wani gidan talabijin a ƙasar nan da ke nuna al'adu kamar yadda gidan talabijin na ƙasa wato NTA ke nunawa.
Kò sí ibikíbi tí ẹ wà ní orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà tí ẹ ò ti lè wo ilé-iṣẹ́ tẹlifíṣàn ìjọba àpapọ̀ NTA kétékété kódà tó fi dé abúlé wa.
Standard NTA Bataruru Okopa Okadigun Okoko now NTA Kalisiakali.
Trends, information, outstanding performance. NTA got the steez.
For decades, we've towered high with sponsors as partners and viewers as pillars. And as we bid 2024 farewell, we welcome you to a superlative 2025. Because at NTA, you can't beat the reach.
NTA say thank you.
The Financial Services Regulation Coordinating Committee, FSRCC, in collaboration with the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, wishes to draw the attention of the public to the worrisome increase in the activities of illegal financial operators, IFOs, which threaten public trust and the stability of the Nigerian financial system. The FSRCC and NBC hereby advises the general public to refrain from dealing with unlicensed financial operators who deceive individuals with unrealistically high investment returns. Make sure to verify the licensing status of such companies and schemes on this website. To report any suspicions of illicit financial activities, call Let's work together to uphold the integrity of Nigeria's financial system. Announcer, FSRCC.
Season's greetings. The year 2024 has been one of its kind on all levels of our life. We salute your resilience and continued loyalty to Risco Foods. With a wide range of proudly Nigerian products and services that not only promotes healthy living, but also creates thousands of jobs for the good life of our people and the growth of our economy. As we look back to 2024 and look forward to 2025, celebrating the taste of Nigeria, we want to sincerely thank our esteemed customers, distributors, and partners, including but not limited to
the Redeemed Christian Church of God, ShopRite, Just Right Superstores, Alican Diocese of Amicha and Newi, Covenant University, Catholic Diocese of Onitsha, Nest Cash and Carry, Babcock University, Jendel Stores, Prestige Stores, Sahad Stores, Market Square, Prince Abano Supermarket, Booker Hut, Spa Supermarket, Black Bear Restaurant.
The taste of Nigeria is a taste of celebration, the taste of a goodwill, the taste of a good cooking. So from all of us at the Risco Foods, cook right, eat right, friends and family, for good health this festive season and beyond. Buy made in Nigeria, buy a Risco product. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
At Home Options, you're welcome to a world of elegance where every corner whispers sophistication. Step into our showroom and indulge your senses with our timeless designs and craftsmanship, from plush sofas to magnificent dining tables that host lifetime celebrations. Our collections, the hallmark of luxury. Create your haven with exclusive bedroom selections and turn your sanctuary into a realm of refined tranquility. When it comes to bathroom solutions, our stylish fixtures, lavish tubs and showers are crafted for your well-being, transforming your daily routine into a ritual of indulgence. At Home Options, we provide lifestyle solutions. So, visit our showrooms in Lagos and Port Harcourt because your space deserves to mirror your impeccable taste. Home Options. Live well.
Thank you for staying tuned. The conversation will be on assessing federal government's strides when we're talking social investment programs. But the year 2024 was low on activities for the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction. But that did not stop the federal government from carrying out social interventions in meeting the needs of vulnerable Nigerians. Here's a highlight of the gains recorded in meeting these needs.
Globally, the burden of humanitarian crisis remains predominant, even as developing nations struggle for social inclusion for all. For a nation like Nigeria, threatened by natural disasters, leaving communities ravaged, livelihoods cut short, creating a chain of displacement and a burden of humanitarian crisis for the country. The ministry has continued to fulfill its mandate in institutionalizing federal government's efforts towards promoting social inclusion and providing effective coordination of both national and international humanitarian interventions to bring succor to the vulnerable population through diverse intervention programs, while ensuring direct impact on the poor and vulnerable groups.
In line with renewed hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he said, no one should be left behind, and we're in this world for just 3 reasons: for humanity.
I'm very happy because for some times now, no one has remembered us. So this is God's blessings.
In a bid to ensure proper coordination and set target rights towards reducing poverty across the country. In October, President Bola Tinubu appointed new ministers to oversee the affairs of the ministry after the long wait of 10 months with no leadership at the helm of affairs.
Our focus is to see how we can reposition the ministry. And in doing that, we quite believe that, one, the major issue is to restore trust. Because whether we agree or not, the ministry since inception has suffered a lot of public trust issue, most especially at both local and international level. In order to do that, we must ensure that we have a strong data recording with National Identity Management Commission in terms of getting average Nigerian that will be in our social register to have his national identity number. And also we must work closely with our banks to ensure that we have a collaborative effort through the World Bank to get so many of those who are in our national social register to have their bank number so that they can easily be identified.
For the ministry, part of the target would focus on key thematic areas as efforts are on to revamp and strengthen already existing programs to ensure accountability and transparency framework. Renewed hope is the mantra. Expectations are high. However, Nigerians are encouraged to keep hope alive with federal government's commitment towards lifting millions of Nigerians out of poverty.
All right, time to bring in our guests. We have in the studio the Minister of State, Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, Dr. Yusuf Tanko Sununu. Thank you so much for joining us, Honorable Minister.
Thank you for having me.
I should say Happy New Year.
Thank you, and Happy New Year, Nigerians.
All right. You know, it's just been how many months now you came on board to the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs. But if we want to assess, you know, ongoing efforts by the federal government in reducing poverty and ensuring that social intervention programs are, you know, apt, you know, meeting the targeted beneficiaries, how would you say, you know, has been the whole thing?
Well, thank you very much for asking this very important question. You know, the target of the president is actually to reach all the individuals, citizens of Nigeria that desired to have humanitarian intervention. And taking the bull by the horn, Mr. President came out to make strong radical changes in the ministry because of what I had mentioned earlier in one of the interview, that there is a strong deficiency in terms of national and local trust by average Nigerian to the activities of the humanitarian ministry. And then when we came in, we realized that there are a lot of good projects within the ministry, but there are some certain issues that need to be tackled so that the average Nigerian can benefit from such intervention. Going by our assessment of what we have seen on ground, we all agree that a lot needs to be done to ensure that the mandate and the desire of Mr. President are achieved, and we are setting goals and target to ensure that that is done in the shortest possible time. When you look at the issue of trust that I've mentioned, some things are done previously in a haphazard manner without proper documentation, even where such services were rendered, because there is no documented evidence that such services were done. They are regarded as not done, and therefore it's our hope that we have to ensure that proper documentation is sustained in the ministry so that we can a lot can also trust on our activities.
Okay.
Then secondly, we also look at, we have different parastatals within the ministry, but the intra-ministerial collaboration was also so defective in the sense that what national refugee commissions and what the NCPA or even the Commission for the Disabled are doing are not in somehow interrelated. So you have multiple duplications. And even when you go at national level, because as I mentioned earlier in one of the interviews, is that the National Social Safety Net Register was also faulty. You find that an individual will feature in more than 5 or 6 interventions, thereby limiting the access of such intervention to generality of the public and subscribing only very few who are at advantage position to be reached out by such people coordinating the intervention program. So we have to also take a conclusion that there is need for us to expand, upgrade, and also validate the current social register we have so that it can meet the need for transparency, accountability, and then it can easily make it easy to track the activities of the ministry.
Okay, it's good you mentioned the National Social Register. From the last count, about 19 million households, poor households, have been captured. And I know the ministry has been working closely with the World Bank to ensure that the right beneficiaries are included in that, or rather are registered in the National Social Register. What strategy would you use differently to ensure that, well, the targeted beneficiaries are those actually in the register? Because that's where you draw your beneficiaries from to take out the interventions.
Yes, I think what we're doing right now is to see together with the World Bank. We had several meetings and we look at it, the whole register, and we're putting into considerations people's and Nigerians' complaint about the authenticity, about the reliability, about the procedure for the generation of such register is guiding our undertaking now. And so we have some resolution. One, to validate the register so that at least people will now see that the register is transparently organized, and also to expand the scope of it. Because, if you have a register, it means that you have an entry point and you have an exit point. And we believe over the years now, since that register has been generated, there are a lot of people that have exited that, and there are also more who need to come into register. And there are also, we have lost some people along the line, either to disaster or to normal death, and which we also need to exclude their name in that register. So our focus now is to, as quick as possible, update the register, validate it, and also make it acceptable, owned by the people. And this we have concluded. What we needed initially is the data capturing machines that we need to have, of which the collaboration with the World Bank has already produced some. And in the next few days, we are going to send out enumerators to first of all validate that register so that the doubt, concern expressed by Nigerians are addressed easily.
Okay. All right, Honorable Minister, we'll pick up with the conversation. We'll look at other aspects after the break. Please stay tuned.
Some say learning is fun, but as a mom, I see how demanding it can be for my child. That's why I ensure he starts every day with a cup of Bonvita. Bonvita. Prepare them to win every day.
My morning ritual starts here, surrounded by life-made furniture. From my wardrobe to my bed, Life-Made Furniture's whole house customization designs every piece to perfection. I love that in Lagos, Port Harcourt, Abuja, Ibadan, and Kano, there's Life-Made Furniture.
For a whole house customization and furniture projects, call 081 2000 6000 or visit elifemade.com. LifeMade, your life made forever.
Hey Nigeria, ready to breathe cleaner air and save money? Let's talk about gas. Drive with CNG, the smart, cost-effective choice. Fill up for less and travel further. Save money, save the planet. Switch to LPG for cooking. It's cleaner, healthier, and better for environment. Say goodbye to smoke and eye problems. Do you know Nigeria is a gas nation ranked 9th globally with over 209 trillion cubic feet of gas reserve? Gas isn't just for cooking and driving. It powers industries too. Cleaner, cheaper, and more efficient. And the best part, conversion centers are popping up everywhere. It's never been easier to switch to gas. Join the cleaner energy revolution. Choose LPG for cooking and CNG for your vehicles. Clean energy for brighter future. This message is brought to you by the Office of the Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Gas, supported by the Nigeria Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, NMDPRA.
Thank you for staying with us. The federal government has been implementing various social investment programs aimed at providing socio-economic support to vulnerable Nigerians across the country. Well, the program, experts say, has over the years impacted positively on beneficiaries. And the present administration has taken significant steps towards ensuring that the programs are effective. Hingano John Adams will tell us more.
As a way of giving vulnerable Nigerians social inclusion, the federal government came up with various interventions like the conditional cash transfer, homegrown school feeding program, student loan, youth empowerment benefit scheme, and support to nano and micro businesses, among others. This, many believe, will create an enabling environment to ensure the successful realization of the country's economic reforms.
It's very, very laudable, and I think so much has been achieved. It makes the dividends of democracy, social dividends of democracy, go to the grassroots and also to the people who ordinarily will not have access to social benefits.
As government focuses on delivering social protection to vulnerable Nigerians through strengthening various social investment programs, stakeholders say transparency and effective implementation process are important.
There is a need to rejig that program, and that is already happening. I have to be sincere with you. Like I said, under the Buhari administration, beneficiaries of conditional cash transfer were being given cash. But under this administration, I think the millions of people who are now beneficiaries have to provide their bank account details. They have to provide their national identity numbers. They have to provide their BVN. They also have to have their biometric details captured in a database.
Key players believe, with many Nigerians already benefiting from the various social investment programs of the federal government, it is expected that the impact will soon be felt in the economy. In Lagos, Hingino John Adams, NTA News.
All right, Honorable Minister, of course, time to delve into the National Social Investment Programs, which we've just seen as part of what was stated in that report. We have the Empower, we have the Conditional Cash Transfer, the JEEP, Government Enterprise and Empowerment Pro, and the rest.
Yes.
But there's been a halt aside the Conditional Cash Transfer. Which, you know, it's because of the overhaul in the structure. What is the latest, would you tell us, is ongoing? Is there hope to revive them?
Well, there is a strong hope because of the political will of the president to reach average Nigerians so that we can have a strong buffer zone that will be able to help in absorbing the shock that are brought forward by the natural disaster in the country and also by human-made disaster and also by the global economic crisis, which Nigeria is not excluded. And also, you know, we are also in a period of hope reform in order to make things right. I know reforms as they are, this is not also peculiar to Nigeria. Wherever you say there is a reform, there must be some discomfort that you will experience. For example, everybody will want to put his house in a new shape through renovation. During that period, definitely at times, you must even pack out of your house and move to another space for you to get a better renovation to your taste. So, and during that period, you also experience some pains, some this, but you have to endure because you want to reach a certain level that will make you forget the period you have suffered in that period of this thing. So also the reforms come up with some challenges that Nigerians are really passing through, and the president is aware of that, and he has made it in several of his national address and even at a state visit that he has gone through. So the only way is to provide a strong buffer, and that is the intention of the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction. So the program are not wiped out, but they are just suspended. And during the suspension period, if you recall, there was a presidential committee that was put forward, and they have made a significant study input towards the problems, come up with suggestions, and then immediately we were announced and mobilized to the ministry. They handed over those their findings in a complete report to us, which we have also studied, and we are now at level of implementation. So as soon as the program resumes, it will be more transparent, accountable, and it will be stronger than it used to be. And then it will be in such a way that Nigerians will be more confidently attached to it. For instance, now, I've had one of the speakers you have interviewed, which made the two distinctions between the previous immediate past regime and the current regime. And that's what we keep up mentioning, which I mentioned earlier, the need for digital identity, because that is only what you can convince Nigerians that, do you know that in Ward A, 50 people benefited from the intervention by the federal government as directed by Mr. President, and do you know that this is their data? You can call them through their phone number. You can also confirm if they volunteer to give you the account number that they have received that. You understand? So it makes it more transparent than just taking 10 people, giving them 50, 20,000, 10,000 like that. And when you are asked to bring forward the list, you don't have data of that particular individual that have benefited. So it's assumed, it's now left at your discretion to say I've spent 50 million to 10,000 Nigerians, or I have sent the same 50 million to only 1,000 Nigerians. Whatever you say, people will have to just accept it because you can't have.
There's no record.
It's not it's highly debatable because you don't have evidence. So that's existing. And that's the reason. And I've mentioned earlier that what we have previously was such data identification in those households that were captured is due to the fact that it was rushed and there was inadequacy in terms of the data capturing machine that will be generated, and there was no much inter-ministerial collaborations between the NIMSI and the Humanitarian Affairs Ministry through NASCO. And right now, that's sort of have corrected, and we are coming out with a robust program that can be trusted.
Okay, Honorable Minister, you're the Minister of State for the ministry. I'm sure you'll be working closely with states. And at the subnational, that's where the people, will feel the impact. What kind of synergy are you going to build, or you're already building, I want to believe, with state governments?
Yeah, we are developing synergy. When we came in, several state governors came for a courtesy call. We have also visited as a form of advocacy to many states. I was in Bauchi, I was in Plateau, and many other ministers was also in many other states. But you see, what we realize as a major gap that is need to be corrected as soon as possible is lack of a coordinating center that will bring and mobilize all the states together so that you can build a program that can be owned by every one of us. Yes. For example, if you look at the Ministry of Agriculture, they have National Council on Agriculture. If you look at education, they have National Council on Education. If you look at health, they have National Council on Health. But Council for Humanitarian and Poverty Affairs and Poverty Reduction has never been in existence. So states that have Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, others are run by a department, others are run by the state emergency management agencies, are just doing their program that is not coordinated. And that role of the government of driving policy, the federal government driving policy, assuring quality as well, assurance, and then coordinating is not there. What has just been in existence is the issue of the support to the state, which has also not been coordinated. So our first thing is to ensure that this year we have a robust National Council of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction that will serve to galvanize support of all the state government and let us to move together, develop a policy that all of us can be put together to develop it and then say that this is our working document. And as soon as we have that, we, as a federal ministry, we perfect the policy, we assure quality assurance, and we go again to move in with the support of the federal government so that we can have this thing. Definitely, it's this thing. And then, when you look at it, we also need to coordinate very well with state. Now, if you know that insecurity is one of the major issues, but as a time now, the federal government has gone far in addressing the issue of insecurity. So it means that we have now, what is our major challenge now? The settlement and reintegration and rehabilitations. These three are very, very vital and key to us. And definitely the federal government cannot do it alone. We have to do it in collaboration with state government. For instance, now our refugee in Benin Republic and Chad who are from Borno State wanted to come back to the state. So we have to work together with state government to ensure that we harmonize our actions, that we have secure whatever is necessary so that we can put resources together to achieve that.
Honorable Minister, I just want to get your final reaction. We're running out of time. What prospects, would Nigerians expect? From my findings as humanitarian correspondent, I know there are thematic areas that the ministry want to focus on in the aspect of agric and the rest. So tell us.
Well, one of the major steps is that we are going to work closely with NEMA, and in order to identify really, there are areas that are emergency. Now, NEMA will provide working tools for that emergency, which will come together as a team to work. But then at the exit of, when the emergency is over, it now comes to humanitarian issues. Yes. And in that humanitarian issue, you now see the role of the ministry, taking it into how do we address the issue together with the Ministry of Education, how do we address the educational issues of those who are internally displaced, how do we address the health challenges along the line with Federal Ministry of Health, how do we also ensure that those who have been in internally displaced camp, how do we integrate them back to society through skill acquisition, and which we are working together with even the National Director for Employment. We have also worked together with the National Board for Technical Education. And in fact, we have a strong collaboration right now on ground between the Ministry and the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, NALDA, and National Commission for the Refugee, Internally Displaced Person, and Migrants. For example, that is there. And we have gone into agricultural empowerment. And what is the essence there is to see how we can cluster those internally displaced persons in a good relationship with their host community to mobilize them, organize them, get them a land, and let them go into agricultural production. And so far, we have just flagged up the harvest for Plateau State, which I was there, and also Borno State, that Minister I was there, and there is also one in Nasarawa. Now, after that harvest, we now, the 100%, we classified into two parts. The 30% which will be given to them as a food component, and 70% we have an off-taker. And then this off-taker will also be taken by the refugee commissions, who will now use it to also feed other refugees. And then as soon as we also integrate it, we also see another aspect that we are going to do, have a strong one, is the homeschools feeding programs, that we are going to make it robust. And then it has many advantages for us as a country that's dealing with out-of-school children. It will increase enrollment, retention, and even completion rate of our students, our children who are out of school there. And also, we are going to ensure that money and food are sourced locally. That will now empower the local farmers around that area so that they can produce more in order to address our food security. And I think because of time factor, there are other programs that I need to come back so that we can address.
Honorable Minister, I'm afraid we don't have much time. But of course, we acknowledge federal government's gains in the social investment programs, and we want to acknowledge your presence. Thank you so much for joining us on Weekend File. We'll keep our eyes on development as they unfold.
You're welcome.
Here's the Honorable Minister of State, Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, Dr. Yusuf Tanko Sununu. Let's take a break. We'll be back. Stay tuned.
From the Atlantic across the savannah to the Sahara, we rise, a land of the free, we know they tire. We dream great, our spirit is undying.
Resilient, rooted like palm tree, we sway in colors, with undying deeper, we bet solutions, with nice passion, yeah. Ethnicity is unique, we have more than destination.
We are Nigeria, strengthening unity, we know they carry lives. We are Nigeria, together live the dream of a land with great destiny. We are Nigeria.
I am the real Nigerian. Brought to you by the National Orientation Agency, NOA.
The federal government of Nigeria wants vandals of national assets, electricity transmission towers, cables, and other facilities to desist from this act of sabotage. Vandalism is a serious crime punishable under the law. Vandalizing electrical equipment will affect millions of Nigerians, including your loved ones. Remember that national assets belong to all of us, hence the need to protect them. Report all cases of suspicious movement around electrical facilities to security agencies. When you see something, say something. This message is from the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation in collaboration with the National Counter-Terrorism Center, NCTC, Office of the National Security Advisor.
Thank you for staying with us. And next is Sports Update. Ayo, DG is already standing by to give us all the details.
All right, Ruth, thanks. Let's begin with football because Super Eagles forward Victor Osimhen hit the ground running in the new year, as was on the score sheet for Galatasaray in their 2-1 win over Giuseppe in the Turkish Super League. The 26-year-old converted from the spot in the 10th minute for his 10th goal in 12 league matches this season. Galatasaray currently top the league in Turkey with 47 points from 17 matches, 11 points clear of Jose Mourinho-coached Fenerbahce, who have a game in hand. Elsewhere, Manchester United will be without Marcus Rashford when they play Liverpool at Anfield Sunday evening, as the future of the 27-year-old England forward hangs in the air. Earlier on Saturday, Newcastle beat Tottenham 2-1 before Leon Bailey scored the winner for Aston Villa in a 2-1 victory over Leicester City at the Villa Park. Jean-Philippe Mateta's 82nd minute equalizer was all Crystal Palace needed for a 1-1 draw with Chelsea. Defending champions Manchester City eased past West Ham United 4-1, just as Arsenal and Brighton settled for a 1-1 draw. In Spain, football authorities have rejected FC Barcelona's attempt to extend their registration of Dani Olmo and Paul Victor. Midfielder Olmo, 26-year-old, was pivotal as Spain emerged European champions last year and has been an integral part of Barcelona's team this season, while forward Victor has been largely restricted to substitute appearances. Olmo arrived the Catalan club in the region of £50 million earlier and had to wait for the third week of the season before it was registered due to strict budgets and financial fair play restrictions. However, the timeline expired on December 31, thus making Olmo a free agent. And that's your sport. It's back to Ruth.
Thank you so much, Ayo, for the details. And that's Weekend File. Time to go home, Ayo, right? Okay, so it's good night from us. Thank you for being part of Weekend File. My name is Ruth Aguele. Bye.